Hello, I am coming to you today to talk about one of the factors that helps us get through difficult times, and that is meaning. And one of the most wonderful books that I have ever read is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And I love how he talks about when we find the meaning in our lives, we live more fully, we live more purposefully, and we are simply happier when we can connect to our meaning and our purpose in our lives. And I just want to stress that it doesn't need to be something huge or major. It can be simply in the ways that you interact with people lovingly throughout your day. That can be your purpose. And it's also not a one and done deal. It is a practice. And really all that means is focused attention and repetition. Similar to practicing gratitude or practicing joy, searching for our meaning, man's search for meaning, it's never finished. And the great news is it feels good along the way. So different ways of finding your meaning or exploring. I also like to avoid using the word find because it's not found. It's more of exploring because it is fluid and ongoing. But there are many wonderful ways to do that exploring. And in his book, he really highlights three main ways that we can explore and search for our meaning and our purpose. And the first is giving to other people. There's so many different ways that we can give to others. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be your time, your knowledge, your expertise. So if you're going through a difficult time financially, there are so many ways that you can give that do not involve finances. And if you don't have a lot of time, there are ways that you can give your knowledge and expertise that don't take much time. So many different ways to give, but when we are able to give, it helps us connect to the people around us, to our communities, and gives us a sense of community and connection to the world. And that helps with our happiness, especially during difficult times. Another way that helps to foster our meaning in our lives is connection, connecting with other people. So think about a couple ways that feel good for you, ways that you can meaningfully connect with somebody else. So that can be, I like using the example of looking at your phone or your Facebook messages, because those are typically stored in chronological order. So somebody who's at the very bottom is someone that you haven't connected with in a long time, and that can be a really neat way to feel good. Reach out to somebody, surprise that person, someone you haven't connected with in a long time. Or you could simply think about one person who you think needs to hear from you and one person who you would like to reach out to. So you can use those ideas for ways of connection. And this is important because the research shows that the number one factor related to overall happiness in life is our human connections. So when you put the energy in, it does come back to you and increases your sense of happiness and fulfillment in life. And it truly does help people get through difficult times, and it helps to foster meaning in our lives. And the third way to build meaning in your life can be really fun and creative, and that is being creative or doing. So simply creating and doing fosters meaning in your life. And that can be something so simple as even making a batch of Play-Doh and kneading it and making creatures out of it using cookie cutters, whatever it might be. That is one way to be creative. Or you could work on a piece of art, write a poem, paint a picture. You could really get creative in your creativity. But the research shows that that is one way that helps us foster our own meaning in our lives, when we create and when we do. But I like to stress to keep it simple. It doesn't need to be anything fancy or a long-term project that takes 2 months. It could simply be coloring or creating with Legos with a child or a grandchild. Anything that involves using your brain, creating something, or doing, that fosters meaning in our lives. So just a quick summary, 3 things are giving to others, connecting with others, and creating and doing. And you don't have to do all of these in the same day. Do whatever feels good for you, but these 3 things really do help us foster our sense of meaning in our lives, which create not only just happiness, but help us get through difficult times.